Norwich away, it's always a tough place to go when you haven't scored in 12 months.
How many years did you do it now?
1 year.
1 goal.
1 goal.
Goal a year, that's not a bad ratio, that.
But it was good.
We've just finished the live show in Norwich. Saša Ilić this week.
What? Sorry for interrupting, Chris. What a story.
What?
From the... Jesus. The
top to bottom, I think this is potentially one of my favourite guests. I'm gonna put it out there now, early doors. And I know it's a bold statement, but I think Sacha's up there for me, one of my favourites.
The determination, enthusiasm, desire to just succeed. I mean, look at this foot position on the bed here.
We're relaxed, aren't we?
We're relaxed.
We've got a good guest. Let's take a
name his clubs, Chris.
Strong handshake as well.
Very, very strong handshake. Name his clubs.
Partizan Belgrade, Charlton, Portsmouth, Barnsley. Yes.
Barnsley. Do you know what? Head chef in a Michelin star restaurant, he'd succeed. He's one of them types of people that would just do anything, put his mind to it, and he'd make it work.
Should we get him in?
We'll get him in, but...
Thanks again to Fairplay for sponsoring this episode. Mr. Yugoslavian international, we missed that. Mr. Saša Ilić.
Friday night in Norwich. Couple of pints, straight to bed with a kebab and pizza. Chips. Garlic.
I've held a grudge for 25 years, mate. And you turn up with 16 bottles of Peroni.
All's forgiven. All is forgiven.
We can order some more if you want.
A 14-year-old me crying in my nana's sitting room, man.
I do apologise for that. But that's life. You got to move forward. You can't stick in the past.
That's a very diplomatic way of saying fuck you, Chris. I don't give a shit.
You said you went back, didn't you? You went back to the Northeast with Mickey Gray and Maker.
Yeah, I mean, I got in touch with Mickey, a lovely guy. He's such a nice guy. Obviously, him, the career that he had, and he had an amazing career. But they always come back to that penalty save at Wembley when I spectacularly saved it. I did such a wonderful dive to my left. Many people see it differently. They think I just fell over and caught the ball, but it was all about mind games, obviously. But that penalty save is probably one of the things that people remember Mickey Gray for, despite his amazing career that he had in football. But it's good to have that, I mean, it's great for me, obviously. But then, I got in contact with him through Chris Macon, and they asked me if I wanted to come and do a Q&A in Sunderland, one of the pubs in Sunderland. I'm like, okay. So listen, I've always taken risks in my life, and I don't think this will be any different. I think, okay, I'm for it. And they said, well, listen, come drive down. Come to our place. You can spend the night at our place. The next day we'll go to Sunderland and we'll go to this lovely pub, middle of Sunderland. I think it was on 2 floors, about 200 Sunderland hardcore Sunderland fans. All I remember was tattoos, guys with
bald
heads.
Yeah. At what point do you think, I might have made a mistake?
Fair play to your life for doing
Well, no, listen, it wasn't for the light-hearted, but they sort of ushered us, once we parked the car, we were ushered in the kitchen, and there was this, cowboy door, hinges that the door opens on both ends. So as they were introducing Chris Macon and Mickey Gray to the stand, they had to pass literally through the crowd of the Sunderland supporters. All of them had at least 1 pint of beer in their hand, at least 1 pint. So they were obviously cheering them on as they got on the stage. There was nothing but, there's only one Mickey Gray, there's only one Chris Macon. And obviously the MC started to introduce my participation in the QA. And as he obviously introduced me, there was nothing but a roar and we will kill you. You
take a couple of
How did you come out?
I'm in the kitchen.
You've got to give it one of them on the way out.
Listen, it wasn't pleasant, but the fact that I had to walk through that crowd to get to the stage
Baying for blood.
And I thought to myself, I've got two options. How can I approach this situation? If I walk out sheepishly, I'm sure they'll clip me behind the ear. But if I walk out like Rocky Balboa or somebody that doesn't give a shit, I'm pretty sure they had given me a bit more respect. So as I introduced my name, I literally kicked the door open because I knew now where the players were coming from. So all those 200 supporters were all eyes on this kitchen door. So I literally just kicked the door open and jumped out. I'm like, right.
2 rolling pins.
Here's Sasha.
Knife in each hand. Come on.
I'm punching the air. Come on. Motherfuckers, come on, all of you guys. So as I walk on the stage, and obviously Mickey Gray says to me, just say this derogatory term. And I'm like, what does that mean? So just say it's obviously derogatory towards Newcastle Football Club. And I get the mic, I'm like, I'm not sure. It was a different language.
I reckon.
I don't know what they told me to say, but it wasn't in English. It was some sort of northern sort of slang word.
Was it in English?
I don't know. So I get the mic and I say what they told me to say, and the crowd went silent for about 2 seconds. Then it was, there's only one Saša Ilić.
So fickle. He said the penalty that's cost him getting promotion, but he said one derogatory term about Newcastle. He'll do for us.
He's one of us.
He's one of us. He's one of our own.
So I nearly signed for Sunderland at the time also. So it was great.
So Paz has just asked me to say the word kangaroo.
Oh God, yeah, that's another story altogether. So being born and raised in Australia to Serbian Yugoslav parents, I had a taste of exploring Yugoslavia when I was 14 years old. I played back then for let's say under 14s for Partizan Belgrade. But during that time when I was 14 years old, because I was a novelty, I enrolled in, I think it was year eight at high school. They nicknamed me Kangaroo, which is Kengur in Serbian. So nobody knew of me for my name. They all knew me as Kengur, which is kangaroo. So in the footballing world, that name always stuck. But that particular time, during that, let's say, very difficult period, the country went from having everything, literally having nothing. So it was survival of the fittest type of scenario. And when I went to England and obviously made it, played for Charlton and became a Premiership goalkeeper, played internationally for Yugoslavia. In 2000, I think it was in 2001, I think it was, there was this movie made, the name of the movie was called When I Grow Up, I Want to Be Like Kangaroo. So the story goes on about this kid coming from Australia to Yugoslavia, going to the Premiership and doing wonders. And it was obviously about my storyline of coming to Yugoslavia. They used me as inspiration for this movie, but the movie itself depicted how people lived in that period of the time where there was hyperinflation. It was the most terrible part or period of the history of that country. And this movie ultimately became one of the most watched cult movies in the history of cinematography in that part of the world.
In Yugoslavia.
So in Yugoslavia,
So basically, it'd be your life, weren't it?
So yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Our first guest who's had a movie made about it. You've been in a movie, haven't you?
Yeah. But so Kangaroo. Nobody knows me as Saša Ilić. People know me as Kangaroo. So whenever I go to Yugoslavia now, or let's say to Serbia, when you say Saša Ilić, like who's that? Nobody knows of me as.
People
as
just start
Ilić.
hopping when you walk.
Yeah. I tend to say, well, they only use the name kangaroo because of its long tail, so you can.
Do you know what, Saša? We put questions on Instagram, and one of the first ones you went on this morning, how big's his dick? That's the kind of audience that we've got.
Yeah, well, listen, I tend to use slightly nicer phrases, tail and all that kind of kangaroo tail. So
One would.
that sort of answers your question or that particular question from one of your listeners.
I mean, if we can get a little bit into that upbringing and that journey, I suppose, to that playoff final and to Cheltenham, well, we'll go beyond, but I mean, it's some story.
It's a long story.
When did you move over to Australia? Well, what age?
No, I was born in Australia.
All right. So
my
Australia,
parents migrated to Australia in the late 60s, early 70s, I think it was. I was born in 1972. But my dad was very passionate with football. So when he got me to play football, I was very tall and lanky and very skinny. So the coach goes, you got the height, get in goals. It's like, obviously, if you're a fat kid, you're in goals. If you're a tall, lanky guy, you're in goals.
Well, I'm
too.
both, and I never played.
I didn't mean to look at you when I said that. But obviously, I got in goals. But I was a natural in goals. I was very brave. I didn't I didn't have any fear. I would dive into feet. So as I was progressing through the different age groups, I became really, really good. So. But my father, being from Serbia, from Yugoslavia, he always had this dream to drag me from Australia. So when I was 14, I had my first taste, went there, but my parents couldn't really sort of settle in Yugoslavia at that time, so then we came back. But it was my dream now, so I got the love for football and obviously watching Match of the Day in Australia, watching, my favourite team was obviously Man United. I liked Man United when I was in Australia when I was a kid. So we were all sort of dreaming about English football. So English football for us was like the pinnacle for anybody's career. If you make it English football, you've achieved your goals in life. Then obviously my parents took me to Yugoslavia when I was 14. Then I went back again when I was 17, 18, just before the 90s. Then I stayed there. Then obviously the turn of events of the country, it was a civil war. The country broke up. The lifestyle of the country turned literally overnight, and I was a witness to seeing a healthy country literally falling.
How long had you been in Yugoslavia before the civil war broke out?
I literally arrived about 12 months before it all broke out. Literally 12 months. So then my parents said, "Saša, you get on the plane, you go back." So I literally caught the last plane out of the country to go back to Australia, because they notified the country that Yugoslavia will be under sanctions from the US and England and so on. And for some reason, my parents decided for me to go back to Australia, which I did. But after 4 weeks being in Australia, I packed my bags and went back again.
And you've gone back to Australia on your own?
On my own, yeah.
What provisions are in Australia for you?
My sisters were living in Australia. Right. We had a house
there.
Older sisters? Yeah, older sisters, yeah. So, but after 1 month, I couldn't live in Australia because I had the bug living in Europe. So I packed my bags and flew back. I couldn't fly directly, but I went through Hungary and across the border. They had these bus services across the border to get back into the country. And when my parents saw me, they thought, what the hell are you doing here?
You didn't tell me you were coming back?
No. I wanted to come back.
Yeah. To what's the word on there?
Told you!
To have some balls day. Oh, no.
Was a lot of it, you said you couldn't settle, but was a lot of it that there was no football opportunity over there? You were still chasing your dream?
Listen, I was young. I was playing professionally in the sense I was getting paid. But the problem was, as the conflict sort of went over a certain period of time, sanctions, we couldn't play internationally with UEFA and Champions League, so that was all sort of off the table.
So when you went back on your own to Yugoslavia, are you affiliated with a football club?
Yeah, so I first went to Partizan Belgrade, then went on loan to a non-league club. But I was 17, 18, so I did really well there. Then I got snapped up by another first league club in Belgrade in Serbia. So I became first choice goalkeeper at the age of 19, 20. And for me, that was amazing. Even though the country was in turmoil, I was receiving it's very hard for me to explain to anybody that hasn't lived through that, the mentality and the lifestyle back then, because when you watch the news, when you see how people live, you think that's, oh my God, that's crazy. But when you're living there, you make the most of everything that comes your way. And it doesn't matter if you're driving a Ferrari or you're driving a beat up, Ford Fiesta. It's these things, materialistic things, don't really matter. It's the people that you're surrounded by with and what you want to achieve in life. So when you're in a situation where you've got absolutely nothing, living in a country where there's like 8-hour electricity cuts every single day, washing powder, dishwashing soap, petrol, that was considered to be a luxury item, but you could buy all these things through the black market. Again, it's wheeling. You learn to wheel and deal. Buying milk was a luxury item. So, but then
and everybody's in the same boat.
And everybody's in the same boat. So it's the survival of the fittest. And once you learn to survive, once you start learning how to survive and how to enjoy yourself at the same time, but then also you have that dream of becoming somebody or going to the UK or any other country to become a professional footballer. That is the carrot that sort of dangles you to move forward and to pursue your dreams. But in reality, you're living in a society where everybody's in the same boat. Everybody's in let's say in the ship, but at the same time, everybody's happy. So when you strip all the materialistic things in life, and you can see that in this country also, people divide themselves. So there's that. It's funny. Money is the root of all evil, and I experienced that myself, coming from a country where they had absolutely everything, not having anything. But in that period of not having anything, people come together and they help each other out. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful feeling, and that gave me a lot of hunger, gave me a lot of passion when I decided to come to the UK. When I was waiting at a bus stop. And I saw people complaining that the bus was late for 2 minutes. And I'm thinking, I had to pull people out of a bus to get into a bus. You're complaining that the bus is too late for 2 minutes? I'm like, if I don't become Prime Minister, this is how I used to think. If I don't become Prime Minister, not that I had any eligibility to become Prime Minister, but my mindset was, if I don't become Prime Minister of this country in 2 years' time, I've not achieved anything. And that was my mindset coming into England, and hence me knocking on a door at Charlton or going to any other club. There was no other option for me but to succeed. So, but again, it was a different world for me. That became the norm. So when that was the norm in my life, coming to the UK, I was like Bambi. I could not believe everybody had it so easy in this country, and they're complaining. I said, what the fuck are they complaining about? You have everything.
Congratulations, everybody, for coming up trumps on the old Fairplay.
Bar and run, haven't we?
2.5 goals, we said, across all 3 games. 2.5 goals there was not.
You're looking at me as if it's my fault again, which I'll take it on the chin, Chris.
I think it might be your game, but we'll have to look back at the footage. I might be wrong on that front. But we go again. Huge thanks to Fairplay once again for sponsoring the series. And we've got another Cosh bet.
What are we going for?
If you've not already got involved, download the Fairplay app and put in the code COSH, and then you get our bet, which this week, we're big games. Big games in the north.
Man United away at Newcastle, Man City at home to Spurs. We're saying 2 Manchester clubs are going to pick up 6 points.
So basically, you're betting against us. We've got the Cosh bet where we bet against everybody else, and it's a £5.
If Man United or Man City don't win, you're in the money.
If you've not already got involved with Fairplay, download the Fairplay app, Fairplay Exchange, put in that code COSH, and then you'll get the Cosh bet each week. And it's just about having a bit of friendly fun, low stakes, £5 with your mates.
On anything. Doesn't have to be football, remember. Golf, FIFA, night out.
We keep saying it, but I've been enjoying it, our little wagers that we've been having.
Is that because you keep winning?
Well, you should have seen me eating them Watsits all the way down. So yeah, links in the description. Get yourself involved. Fairplay Exchange. Just download the app, put in the code COSH, and you'll get the Cosh bet. And obviously, it must be 18 or over. And as always, Chris, go on. See you soon.
Please gamble responsibly.
It was only meant to be for a month, wasn't it, originally? You came over, it was your sister living in London.
Yeah, so my sisters left, they finished their university degree in Australia. They moved to London at a particular time while I was living in Belgrade in Serbia.
Just before, are you a professional footballer in Belgrade?
Yeah, I was. I was earning 100 Deutschmarks, which is, back then it was equivalent to 30 quid a month.
A month?
Yeah, a month, yeah.
But in relation to...
Well, it's hyperinflation. So we had this one bill, let's say note, which was probably equivalent to 5 quid. It was 500 billion dinars for 5 quid. That's how big the inflation was back then. So, but
I'm a billionaire.
It was like, no, exactly. So people would literally
just
carry
spent
these
on a loaf of
bagloads
bread.
of money. But by the time it was the next day, I mean, I don't know how businesses survived over there, but a lot of people would send monies to the families that lived abroad, and there's a lot of, let's say, expat community from that part of the world living in different parts of the world. If they just sent like 500 quid a month, a family of 4 could live off that, literally. So there's a lot of people helping out.
So was it towards the end of that month, did you just start thinking, I don't want to leave here?
Yeah, so me coming to London to visit my sisters, and that was my first experience coming to London. So literally spend the whole month there. I absolutely loved it. I didn't want to go back. And the last night, before going back the next day, my sisters organized a dinner at this restaurant, which does not exist anymore. I got chatting with the manager, or my sister got chatting with the manager, and he turns out to be a former professional football player, that Mike Trusson, that used to play, I think in the first or second division. And, we got chatting, and I said, listen, I have a desire to come to England. Do you guys need a goalkeeper? He goes,
How old are you at this?
I'm now 24.
Right, okay.
So in the terms of a football player, that's old.
Well into a career.
That's old. So this guy, obviously Mike Truston, said, listen, we play non-league, Division 2, Dr. Martin's Division 2 league. And I said, okay, that's very well, but I've never heard of this league before. Where's that, when you look at the Premiership? And he goes, well, you've got the Premiership. That's the Premiership. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I said, you're joking me. I can't play in that league. I said, oh, no, you'll be surprised. It's a good league. So, okay, I'll come. But, what are you going to offer me? What's the conditions of me coming over? And he goes, well, basically you could possibly, what the average wage is, it's about £250. I'm like, that's good. A week. So that's 1,000 quid a month. I'm like, I'm rich. I'm coming. So then I went on to milk it a bit more. I said, listen, I'm finishing off my university degree. I've finished 3 years at university in Belgrade, sports science, PE. Can you guys obviously enroll me in the final year at the university? And he goes, yeah, we can, but listen, let's send me your videotape over. Back then it was VHS, there was none of this modern stuff. So I sent the video, and Leon Shepherdson, he's no longer with us. He owned a timber company in Hastings, and he looked at the video and he gave me a call. I said, hi, is this Saša? I said, yes, it is. This is Leon Shepherdson. I'm part owner of St. Leonard's Stamcroft. We would like to offer you a contract to come to Montenegro. What do you need? I'm like, okay, all right, okay. Well, let's get
it's a bloody good video.
So what's the? Well, we can offer you £250 a week. I'm like, I'm rich. We can offer you that, but we can give you an apartment also and a car. And I understand that you're studying. We can enroll you. We'll pay for the tuition fees at Brighton University. I said, I'm done. That's good. And I said, listen, but I have to pay out. I have to buy my own contract out from my current club. He goes, what's that going to cost you? I said,
10 billion.
Just send me
Wait.
Exactly. Just send me the money. I'll sort it out. Yeah. And I go, listen, I don't know, but I'll get back to you. So then I went back to the club the next day. I said, listen, I've decided to quit football. Said, okay, you give us 5,000 Deutschmarks, which is about £2,500. We'll give you the papers. I'm like, okay. So I'm now thinking that this guy's not going to pay it. I called him. I need 6,500. No, I'm just joking. I said, 2,500. I said, well, listen, you pay. I'll pay it when you get back. When you come to the UK. I'm like, okay. So, but my parents didn't have that money though. I didn't have the money also, and I had to borrow the money from a loan shark. And back then, loan sharks, the interest rate is not per year; it's per day, literally. And if I borrowed this money off the loan shark, I told them within the month I would give them money back. And so it wasn't 2,500, now it was 3,500. So for that month, so I had to add another 1,000 Deutschmarks on top.
It's a risk.
So it was a risk, yeah. So then if I didn't pay that back, but you have to understand also, anarchy ruled the streets of Belgrade. Loan sharks, criminals, gangsters, mafia. That was part and parcel of the world which I lived in, which again sounds terrible, but it's not in your everyday life. It was, but you don't want to mess with these people. You know where to go and what to do and so on. So, so that year at St. Leonard's was amazing. So the lads and team I played for, it was such good fun. It was an amazing introduction to English football. So when I started, I remember the first game. So winning 1-0 was my debut. Luckily, they paid loan sharks and all that kind of stuff. So we're winning 1-0. I come literally 2-3 minutes to the end of the game. I come for a cross, and there was a bit of a connection between myself and the centre forward that went for the ball, but I caught the ball. He just sort of grazed past me. So, and I, obviously coming from the contact, I made an absolute meal of it. It's like, Didier Drogba. He's not seen anything like this in his entire life. He was like, I should have won an Oscar award. How badly sort of
seventh tier as well.
Yeah. But this is the English mentality. So I'm lying on the floor winking at my centre half, and I've got the centre forward, I've got the referee. They're all standing like this, looking at me. They're looking at each other. Like, are you right? So anyway, the referee called for the foul. We took the foul. At the end of the game, we went to the changing room, and the coach and the manager goes to me. I said, "What the fuck were you doing?" I said, "Well, a minute to go, came for the cross. There was a bit of a so-called collision. I just buying time." I said, "Saša, you're not in fucking Europe. You're in England. You as a goalkeeper, you come for a cross. I don't care if they chop your legs off or break your back. You can never, ever show that you're hurt. So when you come into any sort of duel or any type of collision, you got to be stand up and looking at that player like, you're my bitch, I own you. This is the mentality that you're going to have." And it was great because then I learned the English mentality, how which was completely opposite to where I was used to playing in Yugoslavia at that particular time.
I think that mentality's probably changed now, would you say?
From keeper's point of view?
From a football point of view, of you get up, you don't show any.
Oh, you don't show you're hurt. You guys never show that you're hurt. Never. And I loved that. I really, really loved that too.
Nah, fucking hell. You only got to fart on them, ain't you? Because they'd have been shot.
Yours are pretty powerful though. So.
He couldn't knock the centre forward off his feet, to be fair.
Did you know you were too good? You played that season, do you think, right, I'm ready to...
I mean, again, guys, coming from Yugoslavia to play in this non-league football, and I did really well. I think I was voted the best goalkeeper in the league and so on. I did really, really well, but I had a really good team in front of me. So we ended up getting promoted into the Premier Division, Dr. Martin's Premier Division. And the last game of the season, Paul Barron, who was the goalkeeper and fitness coach at Aston Villa, came up to me and asked me to come on trials with Aston Villa. So my dream was fulfilled of me getting an opportunity to play in the Premiership.
Had he come purposely to watch you?
He came purposely to watch me. So there was I forget his name now, but he was a scout that was scouting for Aston Villa. So he scouted me and Gareth Barry, funny enough. So we went, myself and Gareth Barry, we went to Aston Villa together in one car. I spent 3 months there. Gareth Barry ended up staying longer and signing, obviously, a contract. I didn't get the contract.
That must have been mesmerising, that.
All I remember is that I was on a mission. My head is like, I'm making it.
Got the opportunity.
I got the opportunity. So fast forward, after Aston Villa, they didn't offer me a contract. I went to Plymouth and I did really well there, but they couldn't offer me a contract because they signed some other goalkeeper prior to my arrival.
Did that not knock the stuffing? Sorry, Saša. Did that not knock the stuffing out of you? Going out with all these, it was like written. Do you know when you didn't get that contract? Yeah. You're thinking, fuck.
You think that was that the opportunity's gone?
But again, it was for me. Okay, it's their loss. My headset is like, you've lost out. You've made a mistake. That's how I saw it. It didn't knock on my confidence one single bit. For me, you've made the biggest mistake of your life. So my mindset was completely focused, self-belief, 150%, and there was nobody in this world that could even change that mentality of mine at that particular time. So even though, Plymouth didn't offer me anything, I didn't have anything, but they really liked me, that sort of encouraged me that I'm on the right path. So then through my connection at one of the players in St. Leonard's, He was David, his name was. Anyway, he was a player that was sponsored from Zimbabwe by one of the Charlton Athletic Football Club's directors of the club. So he was living in the States, the director, but he financed this or sponsored this kid to come to St. Lin. So it was just pure chance that I met him there. And then he called Mike Stevens from Charlton. Can you organise a trial for me? So I made a few phone calls. I went knocking on Charlton's door. Not that I knew I was coming anywhere. I think that was just like, they looked at me from head to toe.
So you literally knocked on the door?
Just knocked on the door. They had no idea I was coming. But as soon as I mentioned Mike Stevens...
That got you through the door.
That got me through the door. I met Curbs. I didn't know who Curbs was.
Did he know who you were?
I approached her. It's funny enough, there was another...
Look for Curbs. Curbs round.
Is there a Curbs in the? Is there a Curbs in the building?
Little man, slightly balding.
Funny enough, I approached... I think he was the reserve team manager, but that particular, I think that was Kirbishley, so I had no idea. No, I'm not Curbs, that's Curbs over there. Okay, so they said get changed off the pitch, so I started training with the reserve team.
Did they just think, oh, bless him?
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Bless him, we'll give him a token. We'll let him,
Let's
give him a run out.
Give him his dinner and let him fuck off.
That's it, yeah, let's whip his ass, basically. So, funny enough, they couldn't score a goal past me. But you have to understand, 3 months at pre-season with Aston Villa, then went obviously to Plymouth, did well there, and I was so focused. I was so confident that there was nobody on this planet that could knock my confidence down at all.
Can you remember the first session? Like, obviously, you mentioned about it being a bit of a token trial. Remember the first session when you actually did well and what the coaches were like with you?
Oh, no. That first training session with the reserve team, they couldn't score a goal past me. Then you had Keith Peacock, who I love and adore, came up to me and goes, sorry, where'd you come from? He's like, who are you? And I go, where do I start?
I know Curbs.
I met Kirbishley.
You know Curbs. You know him, Curbs.
But listen, my knowledge of the English game back then, you didn't have the social media as you have now and all that kind of stuff. So back then, it was very, very different. But they were like, you're bloody good. So where'd you come from? So you got 7 days to give me a contract or I'm leaving. I've been messing around with these two other clubs. I want a contract. It's your loss. If you don't sign me, it's your loss. So that was the mentality. I was so
massive
focused.
risk again, though, isn't it?
But it is a risk. But I had
it
nothing
works
to
either
lose.
way because you're either going to say, "Who the fuck does he think he is?"
Yeah.
Saying 7 days, or I tell you what, this lad here's got some
like
self-belief. We like it, yeah. But again, it's a risk.
Yeah. Listen, me leaving Yugoslavia when the all kicked off and coming back, that was a risk. So me packing my bags and coming to the UK was a risk. Everything that I've done.
The biggest
Lord
risk was
Sharks.
Lone fucking shark.
Yeah. Well, again, that's all it is. But I did not see that as a problem because I was so focused in everything I do. It's probably now more difficult to do these risks when you got something to lose. When you got fuck all to lose, when you take these risks, you're going to fall back onto fuck all anyway. So it just felt like it was meant for me to be there. So when, again, fast forward, I started playing for the reserve. I signed, registered for Charlton. I think they were paying for my, because I was living in West London, in Putney, at my sister's place, sleeping on a couch, which was about a metre short. But I'll get up in the morning, jump on the train, 2 hours from Putney to Southeast London. I'll come to the training session maybe an hour, half an hour before. I'll stay after training for another hour. But I did that because I loved it, and I got on with all the players. It was great because, they gave me the opportunity and I got on really well with everybody. I sort of blended in. And I didn't ask for anything. I just they could have gave me like, a couple of £1,000 a month. I would have signed for it, at the beginning. But then I started playing for the reserve team. Then I started getting noticed. So there was this one particular, again, once you start playing and doing well, and I did really, really well in the reserve team.
Were you third choice at this point?
I was third choice, yeah.
So the second choice, would he just be on the bench and not...
He was on the bench, yeah, that's right. So after
Who was number one, number two?
You had Mike Salmon, who was first choice. You had, Andy Pedersen. Then Mike Salmon
Australian.
Was Australian, Andy Pedersen, yeah. But then Mike Salmon got injured. Andy Pedersen started being number won. Then I was promoted to now be the reserve player. A few months afterwards, as I was reserve goalkeeper for Charlton, Stoke away, we weren't doing particularly well. I don't think Andy Pedersen was having. He had a couple of maybe semi-bad games, but then Kirbishley decided to put me in goals. It was a midweek game against Stoke.
Do you remember the conversation?
Oh no, there was no conversation. So I'm there, literally a few games before that game. I'm in the coach, carrying the bags of all the players, bringing them food, helping. Do you understand? I was just happy to be there. I'm carrying.
It's like enjoy your lunch, sir. Tea, coffee, refreshments. Anyone?
Medium rare Curbs.
But I was just super happy being there. And I remember it was because it was a midweek game. We were obviously spend the night, and next day we had like team talk in that hotel. Curbs goes, made a couple of changes. We're putting Saša in goals today. If I didn't shit my pants, then I don't think I would have shit my pants.
No idea it would come in.
I had no idea. No idea.
You do stop folding shirts and go and sit right at the front.
I'm like,
Curbs, can you get a cup of coffee?
we need to speak about the contract now.
Patterson, you know what the kettle is.
That's it. A little massage would do well before the game. Oh my God, the nerves kicked in, the adrenaline started pumping. I was really, really like, fuck, it's happening. This is the chance. So, funny enough, my father actually came from Yugoslavia. He went with the fans on the coach to watch that particular game. So he was the witness to my first.
Just by luck. By luck, you were here.
Pure by luck. So we're playing midweek in Stoke. I think it was late February.
Tuesday night.
It's always
rainy Tuesday night.
Oh, it's a tough place to go.
I'm looking at the crowds, like 20, 30,000 or whatever, 20,000 people that came out. I never played more than in front of, let's say, 4,000 or 5,000 people. Now it's like a beautiful stadium. Coming from where I came from, that was like the Wembley, literally. So we ended up winning 2-1. I considered a goal, but I played really well. I don't know if I was man of the match, but I was, as a debut player, I played really well. So that was my first debut game. And like I said, I think it was about 18 games up to the playoff final, 14 games, clean sheets, 9 games, clean sheets leading up to the Wembley playoff final.
So hold on a minute. How many games?
So
how many games is that Stoke game to the end of the season?
I think about 13 games, maybe 14 games. 9 games was the semi-final second leg against Ipswich. So that was 9 games clean sheets. Consecutive.
Now, are you busy in these games, or are you?
Oh yeah, of course.
No. Are the team
but you have to understand is also we were like mid-table at the time. We weren't doing particularly well. I think introduction of Eddie Hours, the centre half, came in. Kirby's made a few more signings. The team was very compact. I played out of my skin, but everybody played out of their skin. The whole team gelled together. It's like one of those situations where, when the ball bounces, it can bounce against you, it can bounce for you. The ball always bounced in our favour. So it was a great team effort. All the lads were all for one for all. And, once you start keeping clean sheets for us, it was normal. It's like going to the game, I'm going to keep a clean sheet. It's normal. So going to Wembley, I'm like keeping a clean sheet. Of course I'm going to keep a clean sheet. But you don't understand at that particular time, especially me coming from knocking on the door, start playing the reserve team, playing for the first team. Like I said, I was in this bubble. I ended up buying this old Rover. It was a car that was leaking oil. So they always used to tell me off, don't park my car in the parking lot because I'll lose about 1 litre of oil. Literally.
Get that plastic sheet out. Sacha's here.
Exactly. But then, I drive a car like that, next week I'm playing at Wembley in front of, 80,000, 90,000 people, So
when did you get your contract?
So Charlton cheekingly offered me a contract a week before Wembley.
So you've been playing without a contract?
I had a contract, but it was like
week
a grand. I think it was at the end of the season, but it was like $1,000 a month or $2,000 a month. I was something ridiculously small, yeah. But I didn't care. For me, the money wasn't an issue. I was fulfilling my childhood dreams.
Checking.
So you made your debut in February, your full league debut in February, and the last game of that season is that playoff final?
Yes.
Fucking hell.
Were you aware of, that's a silly question, I suppose, but Wembley and everything around it, from obviously watching English football from Australia and Yugoslavia, there must have been anticipation, excitement.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't even know how to maybe, from my perspective, it was like surreal. You know, everything up until that point was like it was meant to happen, but it was surreal. Playing at, or knowing that you're going to be playing at Wembley was like, I pinched myself so many times.
Some say the greatest playoff of all times.
Well, so the 9 consecutive clean sheets went out of the fucking window. You conceded bastard 4, didn't you?
Yeah. I mean, listen, it was a combined effort of obviously with all the team, and like I said, we all gelled together. We were one team. It was. You know, from my position to the centre forwards up front, we just felt like we were one big happy family. And I think when you have that in a team, especially when you start winning games, keeping clean sheets, it becomes the norm. Then mentally, it becomes something that it's natural for us, and the confidence raises. You know, the bar of confidence raises to another level. So it's then becomes abnormal to concede a goal or to lose a game. For us, it's like maybe the best years of Man United, and we can't compete against Man United, but let's say their mentality winning games, even the games that they shouldn't have won, they always find a way to score a goal in the last minute, and under Alex Ferguson and so on. So it's that family feeling within the club that brings the best out of players.
And did you all socialise together?
Did we what?
All socialise together. Like you said this.
Well, yes and no. Not really, because the players in this part of the world, some would live in the southern part of London, some would live in the northern part. There's maybe 2-3 players that will live within, let's say, the Charlton, Blackheath, Greenwich area. No, not really. No,
who were you most pally with? Who you have that most connection with within the squad?
So I got on well with all the players. Keith Jones, for instance, he would also at some point drive me to and from training. I would organise with him. Mark Bright also. But I don't know. He just all these players. When we came to Charlton, because everybody lived in all different parts, so we didn't really have that chance to socialise unless if it was pre-organised, especially for Christmas dues and all that kind of stuff.
Were there any lunatics in the team, in the squad?
Good question. Not really. No, you probably always find in one team.
You always got one fucking about, and
it's usually a keeper as well.
Yeah. The keepers are notorious for that, but unfortunately, I'm not one of those. But I think when you look at every team that win any sort of competition, whether it's Champions League, Premiership, first, second league, third league, whatever the competition, FA Cup, I think there is that necessity for the team to feel like a family where they're all in it together, all for one for all.
The basic question is, anybody shitting in wash bags and pissing on each other in showers and stuff like that in your squad? That's the nitty-gritty. That's what I'm really asking about. Is Mark Bright pissing on Clive Mendonca in the shower?
Not that I remember. There was something similar, but not that gross, definitely. No. Yeah, there have been a few people stitching each other up and all that kind of stuff, but no, not to that vulgarity, not to my knowledge anyway.
Was the English dressing room different to the dressing room where you come from?
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. Oh yeah.
In what ways?
I think it's a cultural thing more than anything else. You know, at Christmas dues or when we get together, all the lads will drink 10, 15 pints. You know, it's crazy. It's like, how can you drink so much? What is that? They go to the loo while they're having a wee or piss. They're drinking, knocking back the pint of lager. So for me, that was crazy. That was absolutely crazy.
Did you embrace it?
I did embrace it with drinking shandy. Yeah. And after 2 shandies, I was like gone. You know, that was me swinging off a pole, literally somewhere. But I think there is a lot of cultural differences between, let's say, the continental football than what it is over here. Here, it was a bit more laid back. It's all about taking the piss out of each other, and enjoying it. You know, wherever in the continent, it's a bit more sort of serious. It's to a certain point, obviously.
Going into that next season, I'm guessing you'd class yourself as number one. You got promoted as number one.
Yeah.
You saved the penalty.
Yeah.
How were you when Kylie came in?
So Kylie came in the year after. So that year when we got promoted, I was obviously still number one. The first game was Southampton. We beat them 5-0. Second game, Arsenal 0-0. And Newcastle, we drew 0-0 also against Newcastle at St. James's Park. So it was like
so you think this is a piece of piss?
So for us, it was like
So in terms of
another
step
day.
up,
For me, yeah. So in my head, it was like easy peasy.
it's Premier League nonsense.
Shearer, fuck off. Letizia, get fucked.
Pretty much, yeah. But when you start off the season like that, then it's very hard not to think like that. But unfortunately, I think the first few games were like, at one point, we're like on top of the league. Within the first 3 or 4 games, the points that we accumulated. After 10 games, it was getting a bit sort of, we couldn't score, and after maybe 5 chances from outside, we couldn't convert, whereas half a chance, and that's the difference between the Premiership and the Championship. Most of these experienced, Premiership clubs, you give them half a chance, they'll convert. Then the frustration sort of sets in. You're conceding goals. You're not losing 3, 4, 5-0. You're losing 1-0 now. You're losing 1-0 week in, week out. Then after 10 games, I think we were maybe mid-table or just above mid-table, but we weren't scoring goals.
Which on the grand scheme of things, from promotion,
if
you're mid-table after 10 games, obviously you got off to a great start.
Yeah.
You'd take that, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
I think so, yeah. I mean, we did well, but it was extremely... Again, even the fans weren't happy because we were a bit more defensive. I think this is probably a learning curve for the coaching staff, for us, where we were used to attacking and winning games. All of a sudden, you're on the back foot, trying not to concede goals to get something out of the game, and worried more about the opponents, how they play, rather than how we set our game forward. So it was a learning curve for everybody, for the players, for the coaching staff.
As a goalkeeper, when you're in the Premier League, the gulf in difference in strikers, when you're talking about them world-class players that are, maybe taking an extra touch, and then all of a sudden it's coming. I distinctly remember Mark Hughes was playing for Southampton, and he was like in these later years of his career, and even though we beat Southampton 5-0, Mark Hughes, oh my God. You give him half a chance, and luckily that day he didn't convert anything. But you can just sense this energy, this being in front of you that you think, "Fuck! If he comes in front of me, he's going to score." And luckily for us, we had obviously centre halves that took care of him. And the kangaroo in the stick.
Well, that's it. Yeah, that's but it is a huge difference. Yeah, but it's a huge difference. It's a huge difference.
Yeah.
Huge. Even Alan Shearer, when we played against all these other bigger clubs. But maybe it's also that psychological sort of, once you step in, because playing in the Championship is one thing. There is a difference in the playing quality. But when you step up a level in the Premiership, it's the media acknowledgement that you get, whether you do something great or you do something bad. It's emphasized by 100 more. So there's that added pressure, especially coming back from a league where you're winning every single game. Now you're struggling to get a result. And anything that you do, especially if you do something bad, it's overemphasized by 100. Then mentally you have to get over that. You need some sort of support mechanism. But that comes with experience.
Very quick break, ladies and gentlemen, because this next section of the podcast is sponsored by none other than Manscaped.
Top
and
tier.
Never, ever has truer words been printed on a box than your balls will thank you.
The very appreciative.
Every time I look down, mine look up and go,
Get the wink.
oh.
I mean, look at that, Chris.
We're talking the Manscaped Performance Package. Perfect Christmas present, I think, or if you want to look after your crown jewels.
Top tier machinery. That's what that is.
Precision engineering.
So that's for the boys.
That's for the boys. 5.0.
We've got this that is for the bugle. Bugle and lugs.
Yeah.
I don't get hairy ears, actually. That might surprise you, but it switches off easily.
What else have we got?
We've got the crop preserver. The crop preserver.
Big selling point there. Switches off easy.
Which is ball deodorant, anti-chafing, I must add. And this one, the crop soother.
Oh, that's what you want after you've trimmed them up.
Settle them down. Lather them between your fingers.
Let me give you a little bit of surprise, because you didn't see this coming, did you? Lift it up. Hello. Hold on. Little pouch. Look
Oh
at
my goodness.
them. Once you've got them gleaming, get a pair of them on.
Is that got a gold trim on the top as well?
Have a look inside as well. Golden pouch.
The golden pouch. For the golden boy.
Wash bag on the go. Chuck them all in there.
So you can keep them all under one roof.
Exactly.
They just get better and better, these.
Honestly, I can't recommend enough.
No.
And as always, we've got an offer. All you've got to do, use the code COSH20 at manscape.com and you get 20% off.
Christmas coming up. Boom. That's all I will say. Just
perfect Christmas present, I think. So yeah, all you've got to do,
20%, job done.
Manscape.com, put in that code COSH20, get 20% off, free postage and packing. Next thing you know, it's on your doorstep, ready for Christmas.
You're on about the media scrutiny. Can you remember your first bollock that you dropped?
Yeah. So
because on Match of the Day, they always highlight it. Were you just one of them that were out of sight, out of mind?
So I don't know what game it was from the start of the season. So there was a game away we played against Chelsea. So within 35, 40 minutes, I came out for, there was a long ball. Kasaragi was playing centre forward for Chelsea at the time. And Richard Rufus, our centre-half, was obviously taking care of him as much as he could. But there's a long ball. I came out rushing off my line, and I managed to, on the edge of the box, to dive into the legs to catch the ball. So Richard Rufus was in front of Kasaragi, and Kasaragi gave him a nudge. Richard Rufus trying to jump over me because I had the ball literally in my hand as I dived into the feet. In full sprint, he caught me with his knee in my jaw, and I was knocked out cold. So I'm like, not that I remember much of the game. It's only when I look back on the video footage. So what happened was they couldn't. I was knocked out cold, but they couldn't get the ball out of my hands. Literally, I was stiff. It's like somebody sniping. It's like somebody sniping.
Get the defib on. Stand back.
Forget the defib. Get a crowbar over here. We need to get this ball back.
So that was difficult. For two reasons. The first embarrassing moment, because my mum was over, and she obviously watched the game, and I never ever liked my mum watching the game because she tends to sort of panic if something happens on the pitch and so on. And obviously when I was younger, she always would come on the pitch if something happened to me. If I cried injured or something, she would always jump on the pitch. But nothing really changed even after 20 years. So when I got knocked out on the pitch, as I was trying to pull the ball out, apparently my mum jumped over there, started running on the pitch.
There's a pitch you there, there's a bit, oh no, it's just Mrs. Ilić, it's all right.
I can just imagine we're handbagging around.
So she's running, and as they carry me off on the stretcher, And my mum has always embarrassed me in those sort of scenarios and all that kind of stuff.
Your as you're coming up
I
for the
was
stretch.
up until the point where we were getting knocked out. As they put me in the ambulance, as I was driving, they ushered my mum into the ambulance too. And being knocked out, you can sort of hear something, but you can't. But the only thing I could hear was my mum. And her annoying, beautiful voice sort of got me out of that coma or temporary coma that I was in. So then I came to literally as I was going to hospital. But then for about, they say every minute that you're out, I was out for a good 20 minutes. I was out.
Really?
I was out for a good 20 minutes. So they say for every minute that you're out, that's the amount of weeks that you have to sort of step out. And obviously, I couldn't wait. I'm saying I was fine. So I had some sort of post-concussion syndrome, definitely, because I lost a stone in weight. My concentration levels weren't that
Can I help
great.
with Richard Rufus? Come and fucking knee me, guy, mate. Get on your picture here, Richard. Go on.
Yeah, bless him. Sorry, he did the best he could. Unfortunately, my jaw got in the way. But then when I got back in the team, I think it was after 2 weeks I got back in the team. But then, we didn't have the performances. I started making some silly errors. My focus, my concentration was there. I lost a bit of weight and all that kind of stuff. Then after, I don't know how long that was, but I fell out of the team and got back into the team. But I sort of lost that confidence. I wasn't 100%. And it's funny how one game can make you, another game can absolutely break you. Mm-hmm. And being in the Premiership, you're as good as the last game. So it's a very, very cutthroat. And, if you're a goalkeeper, and unfortunately we got relegated that season. It was the last game of the match, the last game of the season that determined whether we're going to stay up or go down. So unfortunately we got relegated, and that's when obviously Dean Kiley came. And I remember, it's so funny because, us players, we talk, between us and all that kind of stuff. So, we say the good and the bad, whether it's the players, whether it's the coaching staff or the methodology of training sessions and so on. And, we will talk amongst ourselves. And when Curbs called us one by one, just to have a general conversation with him to see where we went wrong, what we could have done better. I told him how, from my perspective, after obviously speaking to all the players, I told him how, we thought that certain parts of us were to blame, certain parts of the training methods that we had was to blame, blah, blah, blah. But then, I spoke my mind. I said, my truth, not that it was probably the truth, but it was my truth. That's how I saw things.
Is this on a one-to-one meeting?
Yeah, it was one-to-one meeting. And
do you think like
most of the players that were saying the same things as me, that would say
but were they saying it to you? Or did they say it with Kerblish?
Definitely not. No, definitely.
But you've all had these conversations and you've got to want to want me. Yeah, trade is shit. He's shit. We've all
shut the door. We need a new fucking keeper. This Chelpy fucking Australian bastard can fuck off. Too much
the one
to
with
say.
the big tail.
He played a fucking few games.
So I was a bit naive.
Do you think you spoke too much of your mind in that meeting?
Well, I don't know if that was the determining factor, but then they got Dean Kiley, who was annoyingly consistent and very, very good. So I was up against him. Obviously, they got him. They saw in, and that season when he came in, they got promoted. I didn't get to play a game that season. And that following season, I think he played half the season. I played the second half of the season, and I did really, really well. We ended up finishing, ninth on the table, which was great. But then that was the opportunity for me because I had another year left on my contract. Now, I asked Curbs, I have some interested parties. I actually got Greece from AEK interested in me now that I played the second half of the season. Nobody's going to touch me if I don't play. So is there a chance that you can obviously let me go for a nominal fee and all that kind of stuff? He goes, well, no, because if you to go, we can't find somebody to replace you for the monies that we're paying you and so on and so on. So, again, maybe missed, maybe it wasn't sort of good from his part, but then he's looking out for the team and his interests.
So was there a fallout there?
No, it wasn't a fallout. He wouldn't just let me go.
So you loved Charlton that much, but you wanted to fuck off to Greece?
Yeah, I loved Souvlakis and Tsatsikis and Gyros and all that kind of stuff. Plenty of that in Greece.
How was your contract situation? Had you been rewarded, from when we were talking earlier about the £1,000 a month or whatever.
Well, no, I did sign up a contract, which was far better than the. Yeah, but again,
but in
comparison to all the other players, I was probably the lowest paid player, definitely.
Has your mindset changed a little bit as you've got more comfortable? Where we talked earlier about that hunger, and I'm going to be number one.
Yeah.
Now you've got this little bit of self-doubt.
Yeah, so funny you should say that. So going back now, when I established myself as a Premiership goalkeeper, we got promoted that year. Obviously, in the first 10 games, we were doing quite well. Then you sort of, even after that that game against Chelsea where I got knocked out, then I came back in and then things started to be a bit sort of, it's like, I'm like, I've achieved so much. It's coming to me now, everything that I've done in the last maybe 18 months, or even a bit longer than that now. I've established myself, I've got so many friends and people patting me on the back. I'm an established Premiership goalkeeper on the credits of Match of the Day. The first thing that appears on the Match of the Day is my mug on the. So these are amazing things. Something that you can tell your kids in years to come and grandchildren and so on. That I was there and done that, and been there and done that. So. But then one day, as I was explaining to you guys earlier on, I'm in my beautiful apartment in Blackheath. I'm standing there and, all these people just put me on this pedestal. I'm always explaining to people that I've not changed. Everybody's accusing me that I've changed. And it's this never-ending battle that I'm trying to prove to people that I'm exactly the same person whilst all these things are happening on the pitch. And I'm like, I had this epiphany in my head. It's like, is this all this that I've achieved? Is this my childhood dreams that I'm now living yet? Is this it? Is there anything more than this? I mean,
you not think it were as good as what you thought it'd be?
No, because now you don't see the reality of things behind. You don't see the good and the bad. You see the good from afar, but once you get there's a lot of badness behind that, where you're now alone. You're judged by every move that you make. Your family, your friends, their perception of you has changed, and they're sort of judgmental on you, saying that you've changed. But I'm like, I've not changed, so I'm gonna have to go out of my way to prove to people I'm exactly the same sort of person. Then one day, if you have a good game, that's great. If the next week you have a bad game, it's like it's a roller coaster ride. You got no one to speak to. There's this void around you, and you have to find a way to deal with all that kind of stuff. But then I wasn't prepared to deal with all that stuff. Who is prepared to do all that stuff? I don't know. I didn't have people in that position to give me sort of certain advice how to deal with certain things when things go good or when things go bad. Then you can't help but start looking at yourself. Is it me? Then you got, it knocks on your confidence. He has a detrimental effect psychologically. Then you're not now approaching the game like, I will kick ass here. Now you got certain amounts of self-doubt also. And it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, but in the other direction, how you started off. So that's what I'm saying, that maybe if I didn't save the penalty at Wembley and I had another season in the Championship, maybe that would have been a lot better for me to prepare me for these sort of things. Whereas I was thrown in the fire straight away in the Premiership coming from non-league football.
Did you enjoy the journey more than the destination?
The journey is always far better than the actual destination. And I think when you get to that point where you're content, you need to reinvent yourself to create another journey in your life.
Sash, have you been to Magaluf?
I have.
Yeah. I can guarantee you the destination is certainly better than the fucking
I've been there, completely agree with you.
And I'll be honest with you, on the way home, it's fucking still even better than the fucking journey.
That's even walking to Magaluf. Hitchhiking to Magaluf.
We had loads of people ask about your West Ham debut.
Yeah, so that was crazy. That was crazy. So I was super. This is when Dean Kiley came in that year when we got promoted.
Gone long.
So yeah, I was at Charlton. Then I think Shaka Hislop was injured, and Harry Redknapp here said call Curbs, and Curbs said yeah, you can take him. So I was there for a month, And I walked into the changing rooms. I met up with who was the centre half at the time. Then I see, obviously, you had Rio Ferdinand. You had he was Razor Radic. He was there. Trevor Sinclair. Oh my God, he was an unbelievable player. Michael Carrick was there. Joe Cole. And when you think back of these players, these players played all for England and became superstars in their own right.
Squad like, innit?
Oh, an unbelievable squad. I'm super happy. This is my chance to get back in there to prove myself. But again, it's all about proving yourself. And coming into Harry Redknapp's training sessions, it was completely different to what I was used to at Charlton. It's far more relaxed. You get, you step out of the changing rooms, you're like, playing keep ball, you play to a side, right, training's finished, off you go. And all the lads go to a pub and all that kind of stuff. It was
Sounds
crazy.
Perfect.
It was crazy, yeah. So then the only person that would stay behind, and I would have stayed behind with him, was Frank Lampard. So he would ask me to stay behind for him to practice these drills of, taking shots from, 18 yards out, 16 yards out, 20 yards out, free kicks, dribbling and taking shots. I would spend another maybe half an hour, 45 minutes with him. But he was probably the most committed player in the sense of his drive and wanting to improve himself. So, but all the other players was like, right, finished, let's go. And it was great. But unfortunately for me, my debut was against Everton. Yeah, we didn't particularly do well.
4-0?
At West Ham, we lost 4-0. Fucking got hammered. Silly mistakes. The game was really bad. That I'm like taking unnecessary risks trying to, and I turned out, I think I was at fault one of the goals. But by the time I made that mistake, we were already like 3-0 down anyway.
West Ham fans, it were 4 of the goals.
Yeah, well, there you go. I got injured after that game anyway, so I couldn't play the other game that I was supposed to play. And that was my, apart from, us going to Cheltenham and partying and, into London also with...
Talk us through that day, Cheltenham day.
So because as I said, it was very, very relaxed. It happened to be that one particular weekend where I think we had off. Then Harry obviously organised with the club that us players would jump on the coach to go to Cheltenham to obviously watch the horse races. So we get there, even the drive up there, the bus was full of lager and booze and all that kind of stuff, which for me it was all very foreign, but for obviously the lads was quite normal. So we get to Cheltenham, where sort of I don't know if I should even mention some of the stuff that was happening there. The lads getting into a circle. I'm like, well, why are they getting in a circle for? It's like, yeah, come around, and they just like in the middle of obviously where all the VIP section is. It's like getting in a circle with your arms around each other's shoulders, and they're just basically having a fucking wee.
I thought that's the way the story was going now.
It could be going anywhere.
Lads, come on, team piss.
And I'm like, why are we doing this? I had no... And as soon as I saw them doing that, I'm like, oh my God, this is
We're not in the huddle.
crazy.
You get the tail out.
Unfortunately, I can't piss in public, mate. When I got somebody overlooking my shoulder. But then, I got to sort of obviously hang out with the guys at West Ham. I got on well with all of them. But I soon returned to Charlton, unfortunately, with a wounded ego, I suppose, and not doing particularly well with that one particular game that I played. But I had good fun. I had a good time.
That's all that matters. That's all that matters.
Was there a story about Costa?
George Costa, yeah. So, we're quite fortunate at Charlton that, when we established ourselves as as a pretty decent team in the Premiership, we were able to get in, decent sort of players. George Costa was one of them. And me being, let's say, one of the foreigners, inverted commas foreigners, that
Portuguese,
everybody...
George Costa.
Yeah, George Costa was played for Porto. He played for Portugal, was the captain Portuguese side. But he was one of those guys, moody looking, but the loveliest guy on this planet. He was so nice, such a lovely guy. But he had this persona and this, the way he sort of portrayed himself in public that nobody would even dare to come in and say hello to him. But because obviously he was foreign and the coaching staff, everybody at Charlton thought I spoke about 15 languages. They sort of placed him with me. I roomed with him. He was my roomie and all that kind of stuff. And he spoke, he spoke very, very good English. But unfortunately, he didn't speak to most of the players. If he did say something, it would be like maybe a couple of words, and that's it. So most, the coaches thought that he couldn't speak English. They just presumed that because I got on well with him, and when he did speak English, he had a heavy Portuguese accent, which I don't think most of the English players or coaches understood what he was saying anyway, but his English was actually quite good. So Curbs comes in one day and goes, Sash, you need to translate this. We're playing, obviously, these guys tomorrow. You need to translate this for me. I'm like, okay, I'll look at Costa George and I'm like, give him a wink and I'm like, okay, so just play along with this. And so Curbs explaining to me the tactics and the strategy of the game tomorrow, what he needs to do, what he needs to look out for, and then I'm like, okay, it's now my turn to translate in Portuguese. I don't know a fucking single word of Portuguese. So I start talking to him in Serbian with a Portuguese accent. And George is reciprocating. He's talking back to me. I'm like having this conversation with him. And obviously Curbs has no idea that, I haven't got a clue what he's saying to me. But he understood absolutely everything that Curbs was saying to him, which was obviously the most important thing. Then Curbs is saying, what he says, no, he understands everything. Gaffer, it's all sorted. That's fine. So it's always thumbs up. And so he walks out. So then now everybody thinks he can't fucking speak English. So anybody that wants to speak to George Costa, they come see you first.
How long did this carry on for?
During the whole time that we was there, more or less. Some players would speak English, but he always gave short answers. So people just assumed that he couldn't maybe string a longer sentence together. But he was that type of guy. He just didn't give a shit. He was like, Sasha's my homie. So we used to, go out. I went over to his place. He used to love drinking his wine. So you would have at least 2 bottles of red wine every single day. So when I went to his place, on his worktop in his kitchen, there's like 30 bottles of empty, and it was Portuguese wine, so he only drank Portuguese wine. He didn't like any other wine.
Homegrown stuff.
So even to this day, there'll be lads in that changing room didn't realise he spoke a word of the Queen's.
But maybe they thought that he knew something, but I don't think they entertained the idea to even have a conversation with him. I don't know. Maybe it was just the staff that maybe Curbs just didn't understand that, he couldn't understand what he was saying to him. So they thought that I spoke perfect Portuguese. Maybe it was a lot easier for them to talk to me so I can speak with my perfect Portuguese to translate everything.
But surely that would be like one of the first questions Kirby should ask his agent.
Can you speak English?
Can you speak English?
Yeah. Maybe he said he knew it, but maybe because I spoke perfect Portuguese, it would be a lot easier for me to translate. So,
I don't remember John Barnes going to Charlton.
I do.
Yeah.
So John Barnes always had an eye for beautiful species on his planet. So I remember one time coming from training, we went out for a meal, but I sort of told John, I said, John, I'm just going to stop off in front of 10 Downing Street. This was during the NATO bombing of Serbia, Belgrade, where my parents lived and my friends lived and so on. So I said, do you mind if we just popped over there? I need to make some sort of speech and have an interview with BBC in regards to the bombing of Yugoslavia, Serbia, and Belgrade, and so on. And he goes, yeah, that's fine. I'm a pacifist. I'm against the war. So no, we are too. We completely agree that the war and the bombing should stop, and all violence should be obviously frowned upon, and so on. So he agreed to come with me. I went there. I did the speech in front of, let's say, the couple thousand people that were there protesting against the war or against NATO bombing, and had an interview with BBC. And in the meantime, had all this Serbian community come up to John Barnes. And he's obviously explained to them,
You're just coming for a meal.
It's all about peace.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. John Barnes, if you'd like to come forward. I'd like to say a few words.
Come on, Barnesy.
Barnesy, would you like to do a speech up on the...
I'm watching the situation for a while.
So he's like, Buddha and peace and rules and all that kind of stuff. So I don't think he sort of appreciated. To be fair, he was a good sport about it, but I don't think he sort of liked the sort of setting where I got him involved
What the
in.
fuck have you dragged me into?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So then, obviously, that was the time when he was at Charlton, and maybe I think it was a couple of years afterwards or so. So I'm walking down the street on the Strand in London. And I see John afar, he's literally walking in my direction, but he's got his arm over this beautiful Jamaican model. So I've got I'm walking alongside my wife, who off to watch a theatre production in the West End. And as he's walking, I tell my wife, just ignore him, I'm going to ignore him too. I'll see if he's going to recognize me. So as we're walking, I'm looking at him from under my eye. He's got his eyes fixated on my wife. And I'm like, you cheeky fucker. He's like, what?
Come on, Manzi. Come on.
So have you gone from looking under your eye to John?
Yeah, I'm looking directly and giving fucking meanie looks, but he walked and it's like he never even noticed me. It's like I did not even exist. So as he walked past, and he was obviously checking out, I could see his eyes moving from the ankles upwards and back and down, giving the eye contact to my wife at that particular time. And I go, you cheeky fuck. It's like, what are you doing? So as he walked past, I stopped and I turned around. I said, John. Oh, Saša has a couple. So I always said, didn't want to embarrass him too much. But then sending my message out, you cheeky fuck. I was checking you out, how you were checking my wife out. It's like, and he wasn't even done subtly.
We're all human, mate. We're all human.
Listen, to be fair, if I was in his shoes, I would have done the exact same thing. But anyway, so that was a bit comical. Some things never change. But I would love to get in touch with John. I don't know what he's doing now. I think he's part of. Is he?
He does a bit of all sorts, I think.
He's in Liverpool now.
Yeah, I think he does a bit of all sorts.
You know, when after you left Charlton, and obviously you had them loan spells, you went into a few clubs.
Yeah.
Did you always know you were going in as number 2 and number 3? Were you comfortable with that at that point in your career?
No, I wanted to play. So obviously the fact that I wasn't allowed to leave and I had another year contract left at Charlton. So then obviously I asked to go on loan at least, So I went on loan to Portsmouth. So I was on loan there for I think about 10 games, 8 or 10 games, I can't remember. But Graham Rix was the manager, Harry Redknapp was the technical director, and the owner of the club was Milan Mandarić, who is a Serbian compatriot that made his money in the States. So I get to the team, and again in this team, Peter Crouch was there. Robbie Prosinecki, I don't know if you guys remember Prosinecki.
Looked about 107, didn't he?
His body was like 107, but he was unbelievable on the pitch. He was like, he did not leave the inner circle of the pitch, but every ball that he would pass would be like literally served on the silver platter. Any free kick, corner, especially with Peter Crouch, just nodding the ball in. We practically won every single game when I was playing there, so we did quite well. And Robbie Prosinecki was what a player. I mean, unbelievable skills.
I think I might have played against that Portsmouth. Was this in the Championship?
It was the Championship. Yeah,
I think I played against that team.
I think we beat Barnsley. So that was my first or second game. We played against Barnsley.
I think I was involved in that game.
Yeah, so I think we beat you guys 1 or 2-0. I actually had a decent game against Barnsley.
I think it might have been fucking 6 or 7.
Maybe even I scored that game. Came off my line, a volley top corner.
I'll have a look at that. I think I were. What were he like, Rix?
He was good. Ray Rix was a really nice guy. Again, another story. So you know how it is in the changing rooms when obviously you have the team talk when you go off to the loo. So most of the time, and which was a bit odd to me coming from Yugoslavia or Europe, when you come to the English game, you want your privacy when you have a number 2 in the toilet. When you have a crap, you close the door. But in the English game, you sort of have a conversation while you're having a shit. Somebody players walking past and you get used to that kind of stuff. But then Robbie Prosinecki, who was a legendary player, played for Barcelona, played for Real Madrid. Now all of a sudden is at Portsmouth, and I remember I don't know if it was away or I think it was away one game, and Graham Riggs obviously had this team talk, and obviously get changed, and I see Robbie go to the loo, and he came back after literally 30 seconds, and he was like white as a ghost. I said, Robbie, what's wrong? I said, you will never guess what just fucking happened. I said, what happened? So I'm walking to go fucking have a piss. I see Graham Briggs sitting on the toilet seat with the door wide open, and now he's telling me the tactics, what I need to do on the pitch while he's having a shit. So in the part of the world where we come from, that is like unheard of. No, that's not acceptable. Farting, shitting, all that, you do that in your own privacy. You don't share that with anybody at all.
I want you to get down the wing.
So that was a bit of an experience. I think he got used to it after spending a bit of time. That was the norm. I suppose that was the norm.
How did you find
Barnsley? In what sense?
The place, the culture.
I love the
people,
culture. I love the people.
Ladies.
Do I have to answer that question? The place, the culture. I actually quite enjoyed it. For me, it was an amazing experience. It was like in the heart of Yorkshire, but it was a country within a country. The people in Barnsley were completely different to any other community, even like 5 miles down the road. Barnsley was a complete different experience to what I experienced when I was living in Yorkshire. I think I was there for about 2 years, literally in Yorkshire, and I think 6 months was in Barnsley. So
it's a right gaff, innit? It's a fucking right gaff.
It's good. It's good. There was this one Serbian guy that opened up a kebab shop there, so all the players congregated at his place after a few pints of lager and partying in the nightclub. But I ended up living in the hotel there with my current wife at the time, living out a suitcase. It's not the best.
You just want to go and put beans on toast on every now
and
again. One of the lads, remember Anthony Keir?
Oh yeah, Anthony, very good player. We played together at Barnsley. Yeah.
He said you're the first and only player ever to want to play chess on an away team court.
Yeah, I'm a bit of a chess enthusiast. Luckily for me, most of these players...
I can't imagine there were many takers. When you got the board out.
Fuck that, get the cards out. Zoo magazine.
Did you have many takers for a game?
Not that I can't remember that I played even chess at Barnsley. If I did, it would have been... It's like an anomaly, this doesn't happen in Barnsley, does it? Do they know what chess is?
I can tell you now, categorically, there is not one chessboard in Barnsley.
Okay, well, there you go. So I brought the first chessboard in Barnsley then.
Yeah. You fetched it in and you took it away.
Oh, listen, that's another little sort of accomplishment that I made.
Yeah. Did you always want to get into coaching? Because I know that's what you're looking to do now, isn't it?
Well, yes. Well, at the time when I finished my career, when I sort of made the decision to quit, I sort of did think about coaching for about 5 minutes, but it's not for me. And I wanted to step away from football, not because I didn't like football. I just wanted to explore other opportunities in my life also, and use football as having my foot in the door. Because coming from let's say a career playing in the Premiership internationally, even if people don't know of you, the fact that you played in that league. Yeah. Any business that you get involved in, people will give you that 5 minutes to showcase what you have to offer. So I took great opportunities using my background to get my foot in the door. So the first business that I opened after finishing off my career was an interior design company. Not that I had any idea about interior design, and not that I had any clue about the business, but this was at the time in 2005, 2006, there was a lot of money. A lot of money was pumped into, properties and buildings, not just in the UK, but all over the world. So there's a lot of money. So then I used my contacts to make a few phone calls. Then I met somebody that were looking for people that could offer bespoke joinery for hotels and all that kind of stuff. And the guy said, okay, I've got you this job. They gave me the specifications for this office that they want to rebuild in Croydon. And I started researching bespoke joinery companies in Serbia. Then I came to a particular company in Serbia. Again, just bagging my way. I didn't know what the hell I was doing, but I just needed somebody to give me the price for this specification that I had. And I introduced myself. I goes, oh, Saša Ilić, Kengur, yes, that's me. So listen, so can I give you the specification and give me the price? I can potentially give you this job. It's not a problem. So I send it off to him. He sends it back after a couple of days. I send it to this Irish guy that was building these huge tower blocks, apartments, but they wanted to start off with this little office refurbishment for their company to do. So I think it was around about £30,000 for the project, which was quite small. But I had no idea, what their quotes were. So I get back to him, I send him an email, I said, listen, I've just sent you the quotation, please get back to me at early convenience. The phone rang within 1 minute. And they go, Saša, it's me. Because I have to also explain, so when the company in Serbia, the joinery company sent me the quotation, I sat in front of them thinking, okay, I'll just put 10%. I know, fuck it, I'll put 20% commission on top of that. So I just added all the specification, I just added 20%. So then I sent that thinking, oh, fuck, I'm hoping I'm not too greedy. So I send that within literally 1 minute, the guy calls back and goes, Saša, it's me. Are you sure about these prices? And I'm thinking to myself, you greedy fucker. And it's like, should have stayed with 10%, don't be greedy. And I was sticking to my guns and I'm like, yeah, what seems to be the problem? Saša, you're 40% cheaper than all the other quotes that we had. I said, well, because it's my first job, I'm sort of, want to give you guys a good price, but we did not add in the transportation costs. We did not add in that.
Which happens to be 35%.
For me, Saša, it's ended up being fucking 10% dearer.
So that's how I got into the business. Well, I had no idea. So I started the company. I was just, sole owner of the company. Within 6 months, I get the Claridge's Hotel. So the Claridge's Hotel is a landmark hotel in central London. It was like a £250,000 job. I got that job on the basis of the prices that I had through the recommendation of these guys that I had. So I worked with that for a good 2-3 years, made an absolute killing. But then in the process, because I was hanging around these...
Serbian Lauren Llewellyn's boating. Now they've got a fucking clue what he's doing.
Well, no,
just chuck that cushion there. Fuck it.
But it was great because I would walk on site in my flip-flops and they're like, Saša, health and safety. I said, what do you mean? What's health and safety? So you need a top hat. You can't walk in your flip-flops. You need a toe cap sort of shoes and you need one of those fluorescent sort of vests and... Fuck, okay, where do I buy that? So there's a shop just around the corner. So I had no idea what I was getting to. But it didn't need for me to know anything because I had the factory that sent the goods and they sent the workers that did all the installation. I was just the middleman between the guys in the UK and these guys that would do the job. And they did such a good job. Then I started getting all these projects.
Sounds like your football career.
Oh, mate, it was great. Yeah, it was great. Yeah, but again, I went into something completely I had no clue about. Then I was introduced to other people that would come into their office, they would give me, it's like the size of this table, these prints and these drawings. And they're talking to me about this project and I haven't got a fucking clue what I'm looking at. It's like drawings, it's like a million of lines and all sorts there. And I'm standing on the opposite of the table. And I go, yeah, we can do that, but I'll give you confirmation, everything. We'll send everything by email. It's not a problem. And they go, Sash, can I just ask you a question? I said, yeah, go ahead. But, I'm showing you these drawings. You're looking at it upside down. And I said, dude, I'm just used to looking at everything upside down. So it's all in the bag, man. You got nothing to worry about.
Don't worry, we'll sort it.
But you're a professional footballer. I said, listen, dude, I can. But then it was funny because when I got the job for the Claridge's Hotel, and there was this really nice person that I met Olga, her name was, beautiful girl, extremely smart. I met her. She goes, Sasha, can you introduce me to some people? I'm like the representative of a huge Austrian bank here, but we primarily focus on the Balkan region, which is Serbia, Croatia, Bosnia, Montenegro, and so on. So we provide financing for massive projects in that part of the region. I said, leave it to me, love. It's sorted.
I'll sort this out.
Bit of Barnsley effect there. Don't worry about it, love.
So it was funny because then I sort of introduced it to a couple of clients, which turned out really good for them. Obviously, I didn't have anything with that. But then after a couple of months, she gets in contact and she goes, would you be interested working as our consultant? So I'm like,
just fucking winging it, aren't you? Absolutely winging it.
Oh no, it was great. It was great. So that all accumulated. It was great. So then I ended up getting this job, which was great because I have got no experience in banks or whatever it is.
No experience in banks, but I've got an office.
Running fucking HSBC. Well, fuck it.
I don't know why I'm here. Canary Wharf, got an office.
Oh, it was great because everybody loved the footballer, in particular goalkeeper. So that's it.
That's what it's gone back to. The fact that you play football has opened all these
absolutely
avenues.
And having the skill set, which I didn't realize it was a skill set, but I realized soon afterwards that my, I get on well with a lot of people. I'm a people's person.
Yeah.
I love communicating with people.
Fluent Portuguese.
I speak fluent, not just Portuguese, any language under the sun, with a bit of a twang, obviously. And that opens up a lot of doors in your life. And I can't help to think that maybe I've blagged it, but then I always produce the goods alongside doing all of that. So it's not like I've sort of fooled somebody to get me something to do something where I don't. I deliver it every single time. So then you just go on from one thing to another thing, and you think, fucking hell, everything is bullshit in life. Everything is. I can do it. I can do it. If I can do it, being a head consultant for an international bank, interior designer, a footballer, then I went to Montenegro and rebuilt a 300-year-old house, converted into a boutique hotel. I'm a hotelier now for the last 6 years. So there's nothing that I can't do, and this is ultimately what is my mindset that brought me from that period living in Yugoslavia during that hardship, because it just makes you believe you can achieve anything that you want to achieve if you truly believe in it. You need to bag your way in, but you need to deliver the goods.
You've got academies as well now, have you? Apart from as well as
so the last 6 years, actually last 10 years, I've been in Montenegro. 2008, 2009, the businesses closed, the banking side of things, interior design. So I didn't have, obviously, an income anymore. That all closed overnight because of the situation, the world economic situation. Obviously, I got divorced, so no wife, no job. So I decided to do something that I've never always dreamt of doing, but to get my motorbike license. So I went off and did my motorbike license, and I needed to find out.
That wasn't what I was expecting.
Next thing, I'm going around Le Mans.
So
midlife crisis.
Well, maybe not. I don't know. It's something I always wanted to do because I always loved motorbikes as a kid, but I wasn't allowed to do it because of playing soccer and football and all that kind of stuff. And I went from June till end of October. I went on a little sort of ride around the whole of Europe, literally on my own, just to find myself, to seek what life is all about and all that kind of stuff. But halfway through my journey through Europe, my father unexpectedly passed away. So that sort of kicked the stuffing out of me big time. And when I got back in October, beginning of November, I get a phone call from one of my neighbors in Montenegro, because I have a house there, and they say, "Oh, Sasha, just to let you know, your house is on fire." So everything that could have happened in 2009, from obviously getting divorced, the business collapsing, my father passing away, and the icing on the cake was actually getting a phone call from one of my neighbors saying that your place in Montenegro that you bought is on fire. That's when I started laughing. That's like, let it burn. I don't really give a shit. So then for 2-3 years, up until 2012, I was a bit of a lost soul. I would go out partying, being happy facey and being very open to have a good time. So then I made a conscious decision after a 2-week detox. So detox was very, very important to me. I literally just drank juices for 2 weeks. And that's when the idea of leaving the UK, because it was very bad for me, to move to Montenegro to start a new life. After a 2-week detox, I sold my place where I was living, jumped on my motorbike, moved to Montenegro to start from scratch. Got there, applied for building permission to build this 300-year-old house into a boutique hotel. In the meantime, I meet my current wife at that particular time. Obviously, fall in love. We quickly started, obviously having children, so we created a family. And after 4.5 years of reconstruction, I built this boutique hotel. Not a clue about how to operate a hotel. So then I started Googling how to make, coffee, how to make cocktails, and I got really good at that. I got really good. So the first year I did that, I did 90% of the work. The year after, I started getting people in. Then all of a sudden, I started getting amazing reviews. But because it was so close to me, I was there every day from morning to night. Any guest that would come, I would give them my love and attention.
You enjoy that personally as well, meeting different people.
Absolutely. And I've actually found something that I really enjoy doing. So things just progressed bit by bit at that point where then I was one of the mostly highly rated boutique hotels in the whole of Montenegro. Literally. It sounds like a Forrest Gump story, doesn't it? And it's great. So then that was all great.
It seems to me, mate, that whatever you do, you seem to be incredible at it.
But hands on deck. But nothing's difficult. That's what I'm trying to get across. We can all do that. Opening up a boutique hotel, it all seems scary, but once you get involved, if you have the true passion for that, whether it's interior design, I didn't do designing, banking, the same thing. I would find buyers, they come in, and I was in charge of, taking out the clients in bars and nightclubs, which I was terribly good at, living in London at that particular time. So everything that I do, it's all about personal relationships, people. So this business that I've just created, he's had his highs and lows, but I've decided to start this soccer academy now. I call it soccer because I just got back from the States, because the football, or let's say soccer over there, is unbelievable. There's like 14 million registered kids from the age of 8 or from 6 to the age of 18. There's a huge market there, but unfortunately nobody has a pathway to success. So me living in Montenegro, seeing what Montenegro has to offer, obviously football with my background and obviously the context that I have, Montenegro, 2.5-hour flight from England, we have all the facilities, but I didn't know where to find it. So I went to the president of the Football Association, who is Dejan Savicevic. I said, Dejan, can I come over? I've got this idea. Generally speaking, the football in Montenegro is crap. It's non-league standard, but the champions of that first league, they are in the Champions League qualifiers. So you get any player from non-league here, they have a better chance to play in the Champions League in the whole life playing football in this country. Because for them to play in the Champions League, here you have to be in the top 2 clubs in England. Yeah. There's an opportunity in Montenegro if they want to go. If they're good enough, I can put them in a local team there where they're fighting to become champions of the league, and they have far better opportunity to. So that's where I saw the gap in the market. So I got these 40 million kids at some point that I can offer them a pathway, come to my academy where they have professional training. I've now bought a license for online US program curriculum, online schooling for kids.
So they can learn as well. They can get educated.
Absolutely.
At the same
so
time.
They can come over. They can get, but it's US based high school diploma. But more importantly, these kids that come over from the States, and we're not just targeting the kids from the States. We're targeting kids from Nigeria, from Egypt, but then we give opportunities for kids that come from the States. They can minimum spending 1 year at our academy. Then I've got the contacts to push them into colleges or universities in the States with scholarships.
Some project.
It's amazing.
Some business, like a lot of thought has gone into this, hasn't it?
It's a year and a half of getting everything together. Last 6 months is implementing the That, obviously the final details and all that kind
And
of
as you
stuff.
said, like the experiences that you've had.
Oh, yeah,
that
yeah.
you're
It's
implementing
great.
them in.
Oh,
that
it's great.
It's going to be able to have a positive
So
effect
I
on
know
other people.
the fact that I was in the hotel business in Montenegro. Usually, all my guests after 3 days they start looking at property prices because they want to buy there. But because they're under my umbrella, I take them and show them where they need to do, what they have to do, experience.
Oh, so you're a fucking estate agent as well, are you?
Well, I'm not going into that business yet.
Yet. I want to see an alternative universe when you came in and said, how long we're recording for, 20, 30 minutes. I'd like to see how you would have fit all this in 20, 30 minutes.
There's so many segments to my life, but every segment is an adventure on its own. I mean, there's been highs and lows, and there's been, situations where, I wanted to give up, but the perseverance and for me to push forward. But like I said, if you do it once, then you can always do it in the future. And for me, knocking on doors at Charlton was actually me setting in stone, this ambition in me that I can achieve it. So, but I'm using that footballing side of things to give youngsters an opportunity to come and experience the academy, experience another culture, to get their education, but ultimately they'll be under my wing where then I can guide them to clubs, and I will have first-hand sort of, let's say, involvement with their progress outside of our academy. Because football, as you guys know, it's run by a lot of people that are not in the footballing world, but there's a lot of snakes, there's a lot of people that just want to make a quick buck. And that's what I don't like. So even if they don't become professional footballers, the fact that they were there to experience another culture, another language, mate, that's
a life experience.
That's a life experience. So stepping away from your ordinary everyday life, I've changed 4 different countries. The more countries I change, the greater I become. Because I don't know if I'm going to live in Montenegro for the rest of my life.
Don't even been Portugal. You can speak Portuguese.
That's what I'm saying.
He went Albufeira for 4 days on holiday golfing.
Even George Costa was surprised I could speak Portuguese. But life is there for the taking. I don't see any reason why anything should be an issue or a hurdle if you completely believe in it. If you have 1% of doubt, it's gone. I experienced that 1% of doubt when I started questioning myself when I was at the peak of my career. That was ultimately my downfall. That's what caused me to be on the pitch. I'm like, am I a fake? Should I belong here? And that was ultimately what brought me down. And I started sulking, and I didn't put in the effort at the training as I did when I first arrived. And I'm at fault for what happened to my career. No one else, just me. But if I had this mindset for somebody to tell me, get your finger out, you got dropped, but you're going to prove to Alan Kirbish and to other coaches that through your hard work, you're going to fight for your position back. So,
I'll be honest with you, mate. I'm not just trying to blow smoke up your ass here, but I think you're one of the most amazing people we've ever had on this podcast.
No, that's nice of
Seriously?
you to say that. But a lot of people say I should write a book, but I'm shit at writing, so I don't know.
It's not stop you yet.
He'll fucking wing it.
I've got a couple of crayons down.
There'll be loads of spelling mistakes, but he'll fucking wing it.
Like we've got this chat GTP now, they can write it for you.
I'll do it for you.
With the Portuguese accent also.
Well, brilliant, mate.
No, thank
Honestly,
you very
really
much, mate.
appreciate
With it all,
you.
mate.
Thank you.
Coming on and sharing your story.
Are we finished now?
Yeah.
Unless there's anything else you
That's
want to...
flown by very quickly, hasn't it?
Fucking dark.
Oh, I know. We started off at
In
9
fact, we've
o'clock
said
in the
this on
morning.
an hotel tonight. Big Alpha's coming in a bit.
Oh,
I
really
would invite you
appreciate
guys
it.
to my hotel, but it's going to be a villa as of next year. But listen, if you guys are interested at some point, if you come to Montenegro, come and be my guest at my villa, and we can do a podcast there again.
Perfect.
And I'll show you guys the pictures.
If you want 2 coaches,
We can be coaches for a week.
coach you can.
You're a mascot.
Well,
It's the Smith.
a jester, definitely.
Saša Ilić. What a guy.
You'd want him running for Prime Minister, wouldn't you?
I think he might be one of my favourites.
As a bloke.
Yeah. Just full of energy, full of... just
Enthusiasm.
oozes enthusiasm. Yeah,
I think that's why he's got so far.
yeah.
Just the amount of when he's speaking, you're like, you are an absolute
what a
hero.
story! Like just to keep going, one after another, and get results.
Because I think, he had 4 failed trials, really, when you think
Yeah.
about it, including the Charlton one at first.
Mm-hmm.
You can't keep a good man down, can you, Chris?
I'll tell you now.
Fuck me.
Bank manager,
What was the other bit? The
interior designer. If
Interior
you
design.
You need your kitchen doing. Give Sasha a ring.
You give us his number. He's going to come and see us next time he's up north.
I feel a bit underdressed.
Do you always match your shoes with your top?
Safe.
Is that a staple?
No, there's comfies. We've just driven down to Norwich, and we're 4-5 hours in car. Put my comfies on, and apparently Matty's put the hammer down. Crack on. We're recording, lads. No time for
He doesn't mess
changing.
about, does he?
I know everybody. I know I'm looking disappointed. Johnny's not here with us for this outro. What?
Just every time we do it, he thinks it's an intro, doesn't he? So, but yeah,
Bit of a
it's,
family emergency,
emergency, and some
families.
things more important.
Yeah, families first.
I'm full of, I don't know what I'm full of, but I'm struggling
Shit.
as well. So
Are you ill?
I'm ill. Matty, keep warm. You could be coming
Coughing
on.
and spluttering.
Yeah,
Snotty
it was
nose.
flash floods on the way down in the
Yeah,
front of
I know.
Matty's car. It was like Dave Bassett all over again. Fuck me. Just random snot dripping
I
out my
noticed
nose.
there were 3 kitchen roll tubes in the footwell.
We had to go with emergency tissue. You know, the blue coarse sandpaper type.
That stuff's not the stuff you get at school toilets.
Honestly, my nose is crippled. Red raw. But we battle on, Chris.
We do. We always stand up in the face of adversity.
We do.
And that is what we do. We're in Norwich, backstage.
Old stumping ground.
Some old we got pigeon detectives here. Wheatus, one of your favourites.
We had that in Barnsley, if
Yeah.
you remember.
Teenage
Crowd
dirtbag.
pleaser.
I'm not over familiar with Switch Disco or MC
Frontalot. But I'm sure they're
I
brilliant.
like his name.
Go and get us a pen, Matty. We'll big nose and
Cock
baldy.
and balls.
Old stomping ground for me, Chris. Norwich.
Yeah. Back on the high street.
Mercy.
Good to be back.
I think it was Prince of Wales Road was up the
Is that
well,
the main stomping ground
the
back
strip
in the
was.
day?
Kebab shop over the road. Get in there straight after.
What are you looking
I was looking
bringing
good.
back some memories?
I hope do you fancy it?
What, on the strip?
Friday night.
Yep, we'll see. We'll see how we get
But
on.
we went out last week, didn't we, after Nottingham?
Yeah.
Because it was only meant to be me and you. You were getting off, weren't you? And John he'd had his fill, so he wasn't having it. But then he realised that he was going to be on his own for food, so we dragged him along. Half an hour later,
Tangled again.
we went to Pop World, and yous weren't overly enthralled at the idea.
No, not really.
Within half an hour, John was giving it unbelievable shapes on the dance floor.
I remember. Yeah.
And you went AWOL again. You could be out with anybody. You know, when it's just us three, you'll just be off. And then trying to find you, we did a full lap. He's got the Irish goodbye down to a T.
Ah, right, okay.
You just
I'll
vanish.
give you the well again within the venue, but to go home, I backdoored it. Because there were a few people that had been to the show, having a good chat with them, and multiple drinks bought.
Blue Wicked, a lot of Blue Wicked.
No, I say multiple drinks bought, like drinks circulated. We were buying drinks, they were buy a drink for you buy a drink for us. And I must have done, because I thought I wasn't up for staying out. So you go either way then, don't you? Do you know what? I'll go hard and fast.
And then puff
Pick me
smoke.
up. Whoa, there was a puff of smoke, all right. Oh, I must have had 5 double rum and cokes in the space of half an hour. And I was, like you said, I was wandering round, and then all of a sudden, I'm in trouble here. I hadn't eaten all day.
That's the issue with
key,
you,
isn't it?
Chris.
That's the key. Not eating properly.
You've just brought someone back there because somebody bought us a drink that had been at the show, and I just asked for a solid Jack Daniels and Coke. And then about 20 minutes later, he's come back and went, "Oh, Brownie, it's your round. I'll have a treble rum." I swear to God, treble rum and
I'll
Coke.
see ya, and I'll raise you.
It was the hand. He may as well have done the Tony Pulis. Put my hand around him
And escort you to the... It's the family brownie, triple rum and Coke.
The bastard.
But yeah, I got to hotel room. I've not felt like that since I was 13, 14.
Spinny.
Spin. Vomit. 40-year-old, man.
But you were double parked for a short while.
In the back pocket.
And then they're gone.
Yeah, I just got silly. Just out of town, got excited. A good jaunt. We've just been on our way down to Norwich now. We're getting ready for the show. Ewan Roberts. The engine room was overeating in the car, as always. Got the laptop on the knee. Matty's driving. Down there, we've got research going on. There's a few emails going. Venue are emailing, making sure we're on our way, sorting some arrangements out. Trying to get all this done at the same time. And my phone, beep, 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 beep. What the... John trying to get his phone on the internet. What do I do? So I'm doing numbers. I have to OK things on emails whilst I'm trying to have conversation with other people. I said, John, I'm just trying... He said, come on, basically... I'm doing all this. John's trying to have a wank while he's on his own. Mivering. Come on. I want a Tommy. Exclamation mark.
Unbelievable.
That's what we're dealing with.
Well, he also rang us because we've seen him this morning, but he rang us and was like, "I'm at the venue. Is there any parking here? We're half an hour away. We haven't been here either in our life. Where do I park?" Never change, Johnny boy.
Never change. This is the second to last episode of the series.
Do you know what that's
By
called?
the way, the
Penultimate.
Yeah, it is.
Did you know that?
You did. I mean, it's a common
You look
phrase.
like- nah, but you struggle with common things, Chris. So last
I don't know.
but one.
Last but one. It is.
Last of the live shows, but we're releasing them soon, aren't we, for next year?
We've got a big chunk ready for February, March, April.
Maybe
a sprinkling of May.
depending if I'm on holiday or not.
Oh, no,
So,
nothing in
no
May.
May.
Nothing in May.
But we're going to get them released before Christmas, aren't we?
Perfect Christmas present.
I don't know about you, but
Drop a few
I used to
hints,
get-
maybe to your wives, to your daughters, sons. You know, because they're dads and stuff. Nightmare to buy for, aren't they? You're dropping in. Oh, Under the Cosh are doing a few more shows next year. Bing.
Yeah. Fruit. That's what I used to get in my flipping stocking fillers. Fruit in a sock.
Fuck
I
off.
swear to God. But you could obviously
Tangerine.
no. There was an array of fruit. Like you could see them because socks are quite tight, so the apple was just bulging out
You
with
don't
it.
have a stocking.
I swear to
You had
God,
you had a
in a sock,
a sports
like
sock.
one of them cashmere woolen ones,
right.
winter ones, but fruit. I'm
Just a
talking
fruit
plums.
basket in a sock.
I'm telling you, fruit like
Pineapple.
apple. No, basic fruit, not even tropical.
Grapes.
If my brothers are watching this, they'll back us up.
Piss off fruit.
I'm telling you.
But thanks for watching once again. And if you're not subscribed, we got over that 100,000. Yeah. Yeah.
We're
Thank
flying
you.
up now.
Thank you. Yeah.
100 and-
101. No, thanks everyone for subscribing and getting involved. We've got the we've done the draw, but again, should have written that down. And we'll have
We'll be in touch.
announcing.
It took a long time. It was a long time coming, wasn't it?
Yeah. But thanks everybody for subscribing. Thanks everybody for watching. Thanks everybody for listening. And we'll be back next week with John Boy.
That was inspirational, that, Chris. That 10-second segment.
Yeah.
Really good.
I've always got a good 10 seconds in me. I always guarantee you that.